Yellowstone. The name alone invokes emotions and memories from the people who have seen her with their own eyes. In an age where human encroachment on the natural world is more visible than ever, Yellowstone serves as a window into the past. A unique glimpse into what the great American West may have looked like hundreds of years ago. Thanks to over 150 years of protection and conservation, the world's first national park is now home to countless species of charismatic animals and endlessly expansive landscapes. In the depths of winter, when wildlife here endures some of the harshest conditions on the planet, there's absolutely no place that I'd rather be. My name is Arthur Lefo, and I'm a wildlife photographer.
When I moved to Wyoming from Florida, I had never seen snow before. And now, after 4 winters out west, I can say I've seen more than enough. I was inspired deeply by 2 things growing up: wildlife and art. But it wasn't until a trip out to Yellowstone where those 2 passions merged. So I packed up my car and I traded ocean views for mountain landscapes. And along the way, I found a friendship rooted in moments spent with wildlife of the West. My name is Tiffany, and I am a wildlife photographer. Ten years ago, I fell in love with telling stories through the viewfinder of my camera. I didn't know what stories I wanted to tell, but I knew I wanted to tell important ones, the kind that were meaningful, inspirational, the type of stories that made a difference. What I didn't know is that along the way, I'd find a friendship just as important as the stories I'd tell. In Yellowstone, every day I'm reminded of why I love photography, why I love wildlife, and why I love telling stories. Whether it's the distant sound of wolves or the humbling gaze of a 2,000-pound bison, it's here in this park that I found those important stories, the ones that are powerful. Each time I visit Yellowstone, I'm working towards capturing these moments in hopes I can connect just one person to the place that means so much to me, the place where it all started.
Growing up on a small island off the coast of Florida, I've been passionate about nature since a very young age. As I grew older, I set out west in search of bigger landscapes and bigger animals, and found my love for wildlife photography. 2020 was a year that shaped my life, and after facing a lot of setbacks, I decided to spontaneously set off on a road trip through Montana and Wyoming, just in search of adventure and exploration and the development of my own photography. On the way home, I ended up back at a friend's place in DuBois, and that's where I met Tiffany.
Adventure didn't really come naturally to me at first, as I didn't grow up visiting national parks or camping every weekend with my family. Although my formal education was focused in photography, there was a large learning curve when it came to wildlife. Setting up those perfect shots requires a lot of time out in the field, a lot of hiking, trekking, and I didn't really know how to approach that portion of photography. Arthur's more the adventurer at heart, and I'm more of the artist at heart. And so the way that we approach wildlife photography is so different. And so it's always incredible to look back at images where we were standing right next to each other and they look entirely different. Every wildlife photographer dreams of a compact camera with accurate subject detection and incredible image stabilization. I found that perfect combination in OM System. The OM1 Mark II has taken my photos to the next level. There's a bald eagle perched on top of that rock over there. Probably taking a break from being on this carcass over here behind us. Tons of ravens in the area as well, and magpies.
Let's get a little closer. You can do the same kind of step approach. So what we're doing here is we're taking a step, sort of a step ladder approach as we're approaching this eagle here to get a little bit closer, get some more intimate shots. So as Tiffany moves here, we're kind of holding back to avoid startling the eagle with too much movement. And as soon as she stops, we're gonna kind of join her, taking one step at a time, letting the eagle kind of take note of our surroundings and not feel like we're a threat to it at all. So she just stops, so we're gonna move up slowly here.
That was incredible. We just got the takeoff from that cliff right there, and the autofocus, I think, got the entire sequence there. Yeah, all in focus. So I was using the bird autofocus. So this eagle just took off from the cliff, kind of made its way back and crossed this valley here and is on the other side of this canyon. And that bird autofocus kind of just latched right onto the eye and got the entire series of it taking off. Scan. Oh, they're there. They're there, right? Isn't that them?
Where? Oh yeah, that's a wolf, that's a wolf, that's a wolf. Ooh, check this out. Look at that.
Oh, that's sick. Oh, that one's really good.
Got a full pack of wolves here. I'm not quite sure which pack it is yet, but
They're coming up that ridge right now.
early morning here. Just outside of Gardner. Literally didn't even make it 5 minutes into the park before these guys turned up. Oh my God, look at them all go.
That was crazy.
Turned around and it's like they're right there.
When I saw them, I was like, that can't be them, because there were so many of them.
And
so
they're like pretty
I thought,
close. Like that's like
Yeah.
200 yards.
I mean, just a couple years ago, I think we were both shooting with the 300mm f4, which gives us 600mm of reach. Now we have double on this new 150-600.
And we have been joking that this is the wolf lens, so.
Yeah, and I mean, here we are taking photos of wolves like a mile away with this lens. Our first winter trip into Yellowstone.
As wildlife photographers, nothing is more important than sharp images. It doesn't matter how good you are at finding wildlife or how long your lens can zoom. We aren't accomplishing what we set out to if the wildlife isn't tack sharp. The OM1 Mark II allows us to tell the camera what to look for when it autofocuses. When we're in the field, we simply set the autofocus detection to either birds or mammals, and the camera instantly snaps onto the wildlife target in our frame. This incredibly accurate tool is a game changer for wildlife photographers. Great wildlife sightings are fleeting. We usually only have one chance to nail the shot, so it's critical that our camera's autofocus tracking is fast and accurate. When photographing wildlife, my camera is usually not set to single shot. Most of the animals that I track will move at some point, and when they do, they're usually fast. Whether it's a coyote wandering around and looking for food, or a bald eagle ready to take flight, it's not uncommon to shoot continuously on burst mode. With the new improved buffer of the OM1 Mark II, I can now take more than double the amount of burst photos before the camera runs out of memory. This really helps to make sure that I get the photos after, as I can now shoot action sequences for twice as long. This is especially helpful when using the OM1 Mark II's Pro Capture mode, which essentially allows you to half-click your shutter as you wait for a moment, and when you do, you end up with a full sequence of images from before and after your shutter click moment.
Arthur, you know, people really love bison on Instagram, so I think taking a vertical video would perform pretty well. The snow's a little bit heavy right now.
Yeah, you can't really get all the detail in the fur. It's a little heavy, big snowflakes. It's really cinematic. You get the full length of the snow falling down through the frame.
I'm all the way in, 1200, and it's dead still with this image stabilization and the new OM Mark II. It's just awesome. But I really love this new feature here because this is such a beautiful scene. The bend in the river, we got the bison. Hopefully they'll cross over here, but as someone who started off in landscape photography, this new graduated ND filter is just so amazing. No need for any clunky filters on the front of your camera, and with the image stabilization on top of it, it's just so sharp, handheld. Beautiful nudity shots. Now we just need to wait for the bison to cross.
Yeah. That's incredible because that looks exactly like how you would edit it in post.
When you look at our Instagram accounts, you might be under the impression that wolves, foxes, bobcats, and bears just wait around for us to show up. Obviously, this isn't how wildlife photography works. It actually takes countless hours of searching, driving, hiking, and sometimes waiting in brutal conditions before we get that one split-second opportunity to capture an image that tells a story and makes a photograph special.
I think any wildlife photographer will tell you that it's not just about getting the shot, but all of those moments leading up to the shot. It might even be the moment when you capture the cutest photos of a tiny little ermine as it slowly inches closer to you in an act of curiosity.
It's experiences like these that don't just fill my SD card, but they fill my soul and inspire me to keep pushing further as a wildlife photographer. Beyond that, having someone by my side to share these moments with that might see things very differently, yet is equally inspired by the natural world around us, makes the experience that much better. These moments remind me of my driving mantra in life, which I wrote on a letter that I sent to myself from Greenland years ago. And that is to seek the wild, open spaces filled with wonder and inspiration, and to strive to share these pure places with others, inspiring change in the most honest of ways.